Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you find yourself on the timeline. Here we are in beautiful Sudbury, Ontario, sitting at Bell Park, little Cloud and I. What a beautiful day it was. So today I figured I might as well talk to you about the manifesto of him and my white dove HP, who is not with us right now. She's at home, sitting on 3 eggs. Because that in itself is a pretty spiritual connection, how he came about. So I have to bring it back to 2019. I was living in North Bay, and North Bay is where all the Jesus Loves You connections started too. And so I was living there in 2012-13, and then I had moved back again in 2019 for work. And at the time I was off of work and I was going through some heavy stuff. And just before Christmas, actually the week before Christmas, in my building there was all these pigeons that were nesting in the soffits of the building. And this is just a week before Christmas. I found a baby pigeon on the ground, and it was just like a tiny fledgling. And so they're pretty susceptible to become prey to other birds like crows or hawks in the area. So I decided to scoop him up, and I actually brought him to Sudbury, an hour and a half away from North Bay, to bring him to the only avian vet around to get him checked out. And unfortunately, this baby pigeon that I found didn't survive. But not even a week after this one had passed away, who I named Carlo, another one fell into my care. And this one was almost all white with a black triangle on its back. And it almost had like the Eye of Horus symbol here, also in black. And I was like, whoa, this is so crazy. And that pigeon was just as old as the other one. So I scooped him up, and with the medication that I had from the other one, I was able to keep this one alive and bring him back to good health. And he ended up being the king of all pigeons of the building, because all the other pigeons were probably like, whoa, I can't believe you survived that. So what happened in there, in the apartment? So from that moment on, I rescued another probably 7 or 8 pigeons. 2 of them passed away, but the rest were releasable. And I'm sure that my landlord hated me at the time, but he should have fixed the soffits to begin with. So, and if anybody knew any information about pigeons, we are the ones that brought them over to this side of the world. They're not original from here. So moving forward, so after rescuing all these pigeons, I'm like, okay, so this must be my calling or something, like all these pigeons coming into my care. And I work for the post office here in Canada, and our logo has like the wings of a bird, so don't kill the messenger. And here I am. So I decided to adopt a pair, and I actually only wanted one, but there was a lady who had a whole flock. I'm like, whoa, I can't take 18 pigeons. So I decided on a pair of pigeons, or a couple. The male was a black Indian fantail, and the female was a white king pigeon. And as soon as they came into my care, they mated right away and had babies. Now those babies are his parents. That was Aquila and Anka, and they were born on August 22nd. Now I want you to keep in mind, I've lost a son, and he was born and passed away August 24th, 2016. So his parents were born on the 22nd of August. I was like, whoa, this is kind of cool, right? So eventually I moved away from North Bay with Anka and Aquila, Monsieur and Madame, which are his grandparents, and my dog Roxy, and we moved to another town closer to Ottawa. And his parents mated, and just before he was born, I had discovered a white dove fledgling, and that's a manifesto in itself, but I'll keep that for later. So this little guy was actually born on my late son's birthday, August 24th. So I felt really compelled to keep him. So he was laid as an egg on August 24th, which is my late son's birthday. And then he was hatched out of his egg on September 11th, which is another epic, like pivotal day, in terms of spirituality, and it could be looked at as a very negative thing that happened that day. I agree. So he's very, very special. So this little guy is almost 3 years old now, and he educates people, and he makes people's heads turn, and he makes people laugh and just burst out laughing, because nobody ever sees a pigeon domesticated, right? We always see like little flying rats, as people call them. So now, when he was in an egg, I manifested the white dove, I feel, and this is very synchronistic. So the morning of the day that I found the white dove, okay, I got to bring it back. Okay, so in 2013, 13, when I was living in North Bay, I'd written a bunch of poems. One of them was $5, which I mentioned in the Jesus Loves You connections, but I had written another one where some of the poem was, love flew away like a dove in the rain, but is finding home again. So the morning that I found the dove, I was talking with a fellow co-worker at work about this poem that I had written about the dove. And that evening, so that was in the morning, and that evening I was walking my dog across the highway, like literally parallel from where I lived, and there was a community mailbox right there, and this little white thing was flying lowly away from it. I'm like, whoa, what is that, right? And then I noticed that it was a white dove. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what are the odds of that, right? So I scooped her up. She was obviously in poor health. It's not common. It's not at all common to see a little white dove just flying around in an urban setting. So I don't know if somebody had released her or her story, but she flew into my care, and she did find home again because I brought her home. It wasn't raining that day though. But so that's how she flew into my care just before he hatched out of his egg. So they're like little roommates, mates. He tries to mate with her, but he's obviously way too big for her. She's like too petite, tiny little dove, like 3 times smaller than he is. So he was manifested on my late son's birthday, hatched, and she came into my care the same day that I talked about a poem about a white dove. So that's the story, Morning Glory. If you have any stories that are similar, please share, because that's how we connect and how we resonate with the awesomeness. So thank you for listening, and I hope you are well, and have yourself a good day. Bye.